Japan Station is made possible in part by amazing people like you. If you'd like to make sure that I can keep bringing you more content about Japan, the Japanese culture, and the Japanese language, then consider joining the Patreon over at japankyo.com/Patreon. You can join for as little as $1 a month, and that will get you early access to episodes, plus ad-free versions. I also take one-time donations over on Ko-fi, Venmo, and PayPal. Links are down below.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Japan Station.
Welcome to Japan Station, a production of Japankyo.com. I'm your host, content creator, and founder of Japankyo.com, Tony R. Vega. And today I'm joined by my co-host, Miyuki.
Hi. Hello. Hello.
All right. So it's time for our monthly co-host episode with Miyuki, where we talk about stuff that I make her talk about. I stop thinking that I go, Miyuki, we're going to talk about this.
I pretty much
like,
enjoy.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I enjoy a lot. Like sometimes you pick something that I never really thought about. So yeah, it's my encounter to some new Japanese culture and traditions and stuff. So
yeah. I mean, this is all stuff that I'm in some way interested in. It's just I don't know all of this. I research a lot of this, and including today's topic. So today we're talking about breakfast in Japan, but not just like in Japan people eat rice. We'll talk a little bit about that. But recently there's been a big explosion in the popularity of going out to eat breakfast in a certain sense. And according to one restaurant industry analyst named Miwa Daisuke, Japan is currently in its fourth he calls it the morning boom. We'll talk what exactly morning means, but basically the fourth breakfast boom. And there's restaurants that are putting out new menu items. They're trying to get people into their restaurants in the morning. So we're going to talk about that, and you're going to learn a little bit about like maybe where some good deals are, what restaurants you might want to go check out if you're in Japan. But we're going to talk in general, kind of the evolution of breakfast and especially the restaurant industry in Japan. So all breakfast today.
Yay.
Yay, exactly. So let's begin by talking about just breakfast, a little bit of breakfast in a more Japanese sense. Like what is like these days people, I think Western and Japanese people, it's not that big of a difference what you normally eat for breakfast. Most people are eating like toast, maybe yogurt or fruit, maybe stuff like that. Like pretty Western stuff, right? I think in most situations.
I guess. I mean, it depends, but I eat toast in the morning normally.
Yeah.
Because it's faster, easier to make.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously it depends on the person, but traditionally, of course, there is the traditional Japanese breakfast, which tends to be like rice, miso soup, maybe some fish, and some pickled like tsukemono, like pickles, not like the green pickles, like pickled, the Japanese pickles. Right. So that's the typical like Japanese style, but I mean, you see that at sometimes like hotels and stuff like that, but maybe at some restaurants. But I feel like if you're going out to eat breakfast in Japan, it's probably not going to be going out to eat Japanese breakfast.
You're right. I also, I mean, I guess we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but there are like places that you can order this kind of very traditional Japanese breakfast with like rice and miso soup and probably like fish and pickled vegetables. But if you go to like, typical cafes and stuff, it's already like coffee and I don't know, some kind of a bread and stuff, sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, it's still around and people still eat it. And yeah, like hotels and stuff. Sometimes, yeah, at the hotel, they might have like maybe like 80-90% of it will be like very Western, but then there'll be a little section where you could get your rice and your fish and stuff like that too.
You're right. I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So historically, that is the Japanese, breakfast. A little bit of history there. Back in the Edo period, earlier in the Edo period, people would in Edo, and this can vary by region, but in Edo, people used to eat like 2 meals. You had your warm, freshly cooked rice in the morning, and maybe like some natto miso soup, with like some vegetables in there, and some tofu. And you had that, and then later on, later, like I think it was, towards the evening, you would have your second meal. But then at some point, things changed, and then people ended up starting to eat 3 meals a day. And so, breakfast, of course, first meal, but like things evolved. 3 meals. At the beginning, it was just 2 meals, so breakfast was especially important, I assume. Interestingly, like, I was reading about this, like over in the Kansai region, Osaka, Kyoto, things were a little bit different. And one interesting difference was that it was customary to eat freshly cooked rice in the morning in Edo, but in the Kansai region, you would have your freshly cooked rice like for your midday meal, right? They wouldn't wake up and start cooking the rice in the morning. In the morning, you would eat like the leftovers from the day before. Apparently this has to do with like, at least to some extent, with like tea culture and stuff like that in Kyoto. I don't know all the details, but there was a difference in timing. So warm rice in Edo, cold rice in the morning in Kansai. In Kansai. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So no McDonald's at that point yet. Yeah, we're not there yet.
Darn, why not?
No, yeah. Warm McDonald's in Edo, cold McDonald's in Kansai. No. No, that would come quite a bit later. But of course, here we get to the real, focus of today's episode, where, especially post-war, you start to get, more and more this influence of the West, and you start to get the more Western style, breakfast. And this guy, Miwa Daisuke, this restaurant analyst, he classifies the evolution of Japan's breakfast like industry into 4 periods, the 4 booms, and he calls them the morning boom. Morning refers to, like, I think probably morning began as morning service. I've seen that used a lot, but morning refers to the basically the breakfast option, the breakfast service at restaurants, right? Like you wouldn't say morning at home, right? Like you're not going to eat morning at your house, right?
No.
If you're saying morning, it's because you're going to a cafe or a restaurant, right?
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
So, this, I guess, the morning breakfast service, Japanese English, you end up with morning. Okay, so morning is this analyst calls these explosions in Japanese breakfast industry, the 4 morning booms. Okay, so the first, we'll go historically, and then we can talk about like each history in order, and then we'll go one by one. Okay, so the first morning boom happened like post-war, like around the 1950s especially, and this was Japan was recovering from the war. And this is where we get the real origin, the origin of the word morning, and the beginning of this whole idea of morning service and having a breakfast set, for example, like a combo thing, like at your breakfast at your cafe specifically at the kisaten. Okay. So this is like especially, well, even, I mean, if you're saying kisaten, I think in most cases, you're probably referring to a local mom and pop kind of place, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like you're not gonna call a Starbucks a kisaten or
No,
like a pronto a
definitely.
kisaten.
Definitely no.
Yeah, so these are but interesting. So kisaten, I mean, you can translate it as cafe, but it's a more specific. Like I said, usually like local, little business. But kisaten doesn't just only do breakfast; they'll also do like lunch and dinner. But more simple kind of home style ish cooking. I guess you could say in a generalization as a generalization. Anyway, so in the 50s, we start to get a explosion of little kisaten, these little, local cafes offering morning service. All right. Now this is like now we're using this gets interesting because we're using morning in a very general sense, but there's a very specific meaning to especially this early kind of morning, right? Do you know what I'm getting at, Yuki? Like the
No,
kind of
no, go
classic
on.
meaning of morning.
No, please go on.
Okay,
What do you?
so the classic meaning of morning, as I understand it, especially given the history, is of course you get the breakfast thing, but really what, especially in Nagoya, and I think Nagoya is like the most famous for this. You go and you get your coffee, but then you get the free something else. Right? Like when
Okay, got it.
people say like morning is famous in Nagoya, they're not saying breakfast in general. They're saying this idea that you get like, something else on top of your coffee. That's really what they're bragging about. That's what they're saying. Like, oh, you have to have the morning in Nagoya if you go there, right? So
Yeah, okay.
so like basically it seems that this all began, well, so the Nagoya history, because Nagoya is the most famous one. We'll start with that. Nagoya, in the post-war in the 50s, there was an area called Ichinomiya. It's thought that this morning began in this area. Now, not 100% confirmed, but that's what the records say is the most probable like theory. This was an area known for textiles. So I guess, producing fabrics and all this stuff. So the workers would go and there was like, I think it began with like one shop. When the workers would go there, they would buy their coffee and then they would get like an extra egg or something. Like they would get like a free egg on top of their coffee, right? Not literally on top, like, you get, an egg here, eat this. Right?
Not in a literal sense on top, but
yeah, it's not like a cup with a little egg on top. No, I don't think so. It was a little bonus, right? Like it's like because you've got all these workers there, you've got probably a few different shops there competing for their business, and so this was a way to attract the customer. You might get like an egg, and you got to remember back in the 50s, especially like eggs were still a big deal back then. Like
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like it was more of a like now. Well, okay, eggs have gotten expensive again, but
yes.
Now
oh my gosh, yes.
They've become a special thing again. But so I guess I don't need to explain how special eggs used to be. like for example, I remember hearing stories from older Japanese people, like in their like 80s, 90s, because I interviewed a bunch of older people here because when I was working for the magazine here in Hawaii, and I remember hearing stories about like after the war, the first time I got to eat eggs, I got so many, and then I just kept eating and eating and eating. They were like so happy, like when they finally got to eat eggs again, because it was so hard to get, especially during the war. So, yeah, I'm sure in the 50s it was still not 100% like anybody could get eggs all the time. Anyway, so you get your coffee, get a free egg, maybe you get a free something else, some free food, and then this just became a thing, right, in Nagoya, and so apparently this started to spread into other places, and people started to know, like, oh, there's this morning thing, right? You go out, you get your coffee, you get a little something extra. And then from there, I'm sure that like there was also the more general morning service, which might just be like you go out and you buy your food at a little cafe or a little kisate. So that's the first boom, according to this Miwa Daisuke guy, where this idea of morning starts to spread. Kisaten start to spread across Japan. They start to pop up. These different kisaten start to offer breakfast in various shapes. Maybe not like the strict sense of morning where you get a free something or another, but they're still offering some kind of breakfast. So that's where you get this first morning. But we should talk about the Hiroshima thing, which you found, Miyuki. So do you want to talk about the Hiroshima thing?
Sure. So, well, because I was doing this like, I like I said at the beginning, I never really thought of this Japanese morning thing. So when you brought this idea up, I was just doing a little bit of research on it, and then I found that it started not in Nagoya, Ichinomiya area, like you just said, but instead that is in Hiroshima.
Yeah.
And there is this one possibility that it actually started in Hiroshima City. That was 1955. Yeah, that's what it says. So according to this one article, it was, again, I think the idea was probably very similar.
I think so.
But the coffee was 60 Japanese yen. One cup of coffee was 60 Japanese yen back then.
Mm-hmm.
But then the owner of this cafe or kisaten started offering one cup of coffee with egg and a piece of bread at 70 Japanese yen. So I according to the article, and I myself also think this way, that the purpose was not to make a good business out of it, right? Mm-hmm. So, but the 1955, the area or the Hiroshima city was still recovering from the war, especially from the atomic bomb attack. Yeah. And there were a lot of people still hurt and trying to recover and trying to restart their life. But at the same time, so many people are still looking for their families and friends who just, probably got killed, but hospitalized or went somewhere else. So the owner of this kisaten or the cafe really wanted to encourage people, help people, but also to make their kisaten, make this place for people to just gather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that seems to be, well, let's put it this way. As far as we can tell, according to this article, that is the oldest place that has proof that they were offering morning service, because they have a photo of the old location of that restaurant where there's a sign in the photo that says morning service, and that photo is from I think 1955. And so that is the oldest documentation of a place offering morning service. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't guarantee that it's the first place. It's just that as far as we know, there aren't other places that have proof. But the thing with stuff like this is when something gets famous, it's you get 10 places that all claim to be the first thing, the first one, right?
Happens all the time, everywhere.
Yeah. It's this samurai died, and then he's really famous, so then 10 temples say that he's buried here or something like that, right? It's well, there weren't 10 of him, so 9 of them are probably lied.
But my interpretation is that it happened only one year difference, right? 1955 was in Hiroshima, and according to the other articles, it happened in Ichinomiya, Nagoya. Mm-hmm. In 1956, around those years.
Yeah.
And I think the historical perspective really tells a lot that why the owner of each cafe started doing that. That was to kind of encourage people, help support people, and really wishing people to have good day, I guess, in the middle of people trying to recover from the ones and all the sad memory of wars and stuff.
Yeah, and so, especially like in the case of Nagoya, where it was like the textile industry, people working hard all day. Yeah, very much like something that's tied to post-war recovery. People, literally rebuilding, putting out shops, and people working and going to these shops and buying the stuff from the West, right? Like coffee and eggs and bread, right? This is very much like, not war Japan anymore. Like this is Japan, embracing, their return to normalcy in a sense.
Yeah. So I guess it happened as a coincidence that, at the similar time, similar thing happened in two different locations, or probably more than two. Possible.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure that some of this was a coincidence. Like, you get some shops in Tokyo area that started offering morning service without necessarily knowing about the Nagoya stuff. Maybe the Hiroshima and the Nagoya stuff popped up independently. Maybe there was some, influence there. We don't know, but apparently this stuff was in some way or another. This morning boom was happening, and this kisaten boom was happening across Japan.
I guess coffee boom also started around the same time, right?
It must be. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, I don't know. People were already drinking coffee before World War II, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, or probably not to the same extent.
That is,
if they
true.
were.
Yeah, true.
And we should mention that I don't remember if we mentioned the name of the restaurant in Hiroshima, but it's Rue Brasil, right?
Yes.
Okay, Rue Brasil. In case anybody wants to go there, I believe it's walking distance from Hiroshima Station. So if you ever want to check it out, look it up. Rue Brasil. That is not the original location. I think that location is there from like 1979. And they did rename. I think originally the shop was called Brasil instead of Rue Brasil. But that the guy that was interviewed in the article, I think he's the grandson of the original owner, the guy that opened the shop. So
I see.
That is, as far as we know, the first place to start offering morning service. So we got the first morning boom, but there's a second and third and fourth morning boom. So let's move on to the second morning boom. So this happens in the 1980s, right? So interesting how this stuff is. The first one happens post-war. We get, the big rebuilding of Japan post-war. 1980s bubble economy, all right? So, business expansion, people got money, people are spending money. So what happens in the 1980s is we start to get like hotels and family restaurant, famiresu, and fast food places also. Like this starts to expand, right? Like breakfast starts to be offered in all these different places. These businesses are expanding, and so you get an expansion of morning. It's not. This isn't the same kind of morning anymore. It isn't you go buy a coffee, you get a free egg. This is, for example, 1985, we get McDonald's starts offering breakfast in Japan. So, we start to get like this other breakfast, this more Western breakfast, I guess you could say, even more Western style. Like, we got a egg I love how things get changed in like, for example, McDonald's in Japan. It's not an egg McMuffin. It's an egg muffin. They cut the mc.
I didn't know. Is it?
Yeah, it's in English, it's egg McMuffin.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But egu makumafi, I guess it's just too long, so they just cut it to egg muffin. But a muffin is a sweet thing, right? Like, so it sounds weird to the English speaking ear. Like another thing that's funny, like at McDonald's, is the fish fideo, right? The fish sandwich. In English, it's the fish fillet. So they like switched it around.
I guess they had to like name them something familiar, or like at least that all these names didn't sound too weird to Japanese people. Like they
Obviously,
had to.
that is what it is. Yeah. It's just funny how like fillet of fish is the English, right? But the the O is of, right? So it's fillet of, right? But then they switch it around, so it's fish filet. So it's like you're saying fish fillet of what? Like
again, I never thought about it.
Yeah,
but you're right.
No, it's funny. It's funny, but I mean nothing wrong with it. It just sounds funny. But yeah, that the asamaku is what so
asamaku.
What I read was that originally the morning breakfast menu at McDonald's wasn't called asamaku, but people called it asamaku, and then McDonald's adopted the name because it just became so popular. Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. I spent my time researching this. So I learned something. Now you know.
So, like, did you also find out that what they were calling asamaku?
I don't remember. I think the article just mentioned like generic name, like just breakfast menu or something like that. Like I don't. It doesn't seem like they had like a marketing kind of like this is our branded menu. Like it's just this is our brand, I think. But
I see.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure like by the 90s or so, like asamaku is just like everybody just knows it as asamaku, right? Yeah. So that I mean that's the perfect example of the 80s. McDonald's breakfast, and expanding.
Yeah.
Of course, famidesu and hotels, of course, like breakfast at hotels is like standard. Let's talk a little bit about hotels, I guess, since the topic has come up. But for people visiting Japan, that is always an option that you're going to have if you're staying at a hotel, unless, if you're not staying at a hotel, then I guess not. But here's the thing about breakfast hotel breakfast. They're not necessarily a good deal. Like most of these places, I've at this point in time, I've lived like 3 months in Japanese hotels because like whenever I go to Japan, I'm living a month at a time in hotels all across the country.
Right.
So I've come to like have a decent understanding of how these hotel like breakfasts work.
You know it more than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So first, okay, I'll say the good. Sometimes you go to you get to a hotel and they offer free breakfast. That's awesome. Now I guess it's technically included in your lodging price, whatever, but like for example, Toyoko Inn. Toyoko Inn is basically available all across the country. They're one of the major business hotel chains in Japan. If you're staying there, you're getting free breakfast, included in your stay, but you know what I mean. And actually, the selection of their food there is pretty good for a free breakfast, for like an included breakfast. They've got a nice selection of stuff. I have no complaints. I'm the only reason why I don't eat more Toyoko Inn breakfast is because I often just want to get out of the hotel as soon as possible because I'm going to be walking all day. So I just go to the convenience store and buy some stuff and I start eating it as I'm walking to the train station or like at the train station. I'm a rude foreigner, whatever. But I'm just trying to get to my train as fast as possible. So I don't sit down and eat the breakfast buffet, whatever. But if you have the time, the Toyoko Inn is a good choice if you're cheap like me.
Okay. Yeah.
So because Toyoko Inn is also one of the more affordable options for a national.
Yeah.
And if you get if you become a member of their Toyoko Inn membership, whatever, you get 10% off when you book directly through them. So I have my membership card.
Ooh.
And it's free to become a member, at least as of the time of this recording. So there you go. But the trick is you have to book through their website or call. So you have to. So that can be a little annoying if you don't speak Japanese and stuff like that. But although I think Toyokoin has an English language website. Anyway, now sometimes you get to a hotel that has free breakfast, but it's like bare bones. Like there's like 3 items.
Oh my god!
It's like maybe orange juice, coffee, bread, and like a tiny cup of yogurt, something like that, right? Well, jam. You can toast your bread. Look, if the hotel is cheap and they're giving me some bread and yogurt and juice, no complaints. I'll eat it. Like I'm fine. I would prefer more, but hell, free stuff, I'll take it. No complaints. So you get those 2 extremes. Like anything, I think beyond Toyokoin, it's rare to get like a breakfast hotel that's like even better than that for like the included hotel price, right? Mm-hmm. Most places are going to charge you 1,000 to 2,000 yen for all you can eat breakfast. Mm-hmm. 1,000 yen is still all right, but you can get cheaper if you just go to the convenience store. Now if you intend to eat like a ton of food, then I guess 1,000 yen might be a pretty good deal. But if all you need is like, a little bit of bread and something to drink, like a coffee and maybe like, I don't know, a little rice ball or something like that, you're probably going to spend less than 1,000 yen. So it's up to you to do the calculations. But yeah, most places are going to be between 1,000 or 2,000 yen on top of your hotel stay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so just be aware of that. And of course, there's some really good, might be 2,000 yen, but the food is awesome and you eat a whole bunch. If that's what you want, that's what you want. But if you just want a cheap thing, convenience store is always a good option. Or some of the other stuff that we're going to talk about, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So that's the second boom, right? So it spreads into hotels and the fast food and the family restaurant and all that stuff. I'm in Japan and I need to call my hotel because, well, I don't know, maybe you need to make another reservation or something. Something comes up and you need to call your hotel. Well, in situations like that, it helps to have a Japanese phone number. So if you sign up for Mobile's voice and data plan, that's exactly what you get. You get an actual Japanese phone number that you can use to call, well, people and businesses and I don't know, cats in Japan. I guess if there's a cat with a cell phone, you can call it. But you can get a 10% discount on the voice and data plan if you use my affiliate link. That's mobile, mobal.com/Tony Japan. You get a discount and you support what I'm doing here at Japan Station. So again, mobile.com/Tony Japan, link in the show notes. Any comments on this aspect of stuff or hotel stuff? Anything that came to mind, Miyuki?
So I don't remember when this second boom came a thing in Japan. I was still small.
You were
little
at best small, if maybe not even born.
Possible. Yeah, and my family just didn't have this custom of dining out in the morning.
Mm-hmm,
we just even on like weekends or like on our family holiday thing, we just didn't dine out in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this was already a thing. As far as I can remember, this was already a thing, like a morning at Famiresu.
Mm-hmm.
So it just on this second boom, it really became the Japanese thing.
Yeah.
And the rest is just, expansion for different directions. So we can just talk about this.
Exactly. Now. Yeah. No, but yeah, this is like the mainstreaming, the fast foodification, right? That second boom, right? And then we get into the third boom. So apparently this happened in the 2010s. I was living in Japan. I remember this very well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think you will remember this if you haven't read that part yet. You're gonna go, oh yeah. So what happened apparently in the well, no, not apparently. I know I saw this happen in 2010. you started to see a lot of restaurants, businesses from outside of Japan start to come in. You had the big Hawaii pancake boom.
Oh,
right. And you also had like
Now,
non-Hawaii shops come to Japan as well. But like the pancake is the big symbol of this
oh
period
my
of
God.
Japan, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, yes.
Yep.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Bill's Original Pancake House, Eggs and Things.
Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. No, like, so I live in Hawaii now. And actually the first time I met Miyuki in person was in Hawaii. So you're very
Yeah.
familiar with Hawaii.
Yeah.
But like when I was living in Japan in 2000, I'd never been to Hawaii. I didn't know almost anything about Hawaii. I didn't know that pancakes were a thing in Hawaii, but they were, and they continue to be. But that became a thing in Japan, and there's still remnants of it. Like I'm sure Eggs and Things and some of those shops are still around. But back then in the early 2010s, especially, like it was a big thing. It was on the news, media, and like celebrities. Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio ate this pancake, and we have to go eat this pancake because it just opened up in Tokyo, and blah 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 blah. So, like it was all over the place.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes.
And
yes,
so,
yes. I remember that now. Uh-huh.
yeah. I mean, if you lived through it, you're right, because it was a big deal. But the way that this Miwa Daisuke guy like puts it is like breakfast became more of an experience kind of thing. Like it's like you specifically want to go to that new restaurant, right? To that new place, to that new shop from Hawaii or whatever. It becomes more of an event, right? And so that's what characterized this third boom.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and like I said, the fever has died down since then, but you can still, pancakes. It's become more of a normal thing. Like it's just like, oh, you want to go to that pancake place? Yeah, whatever. Like it's not like you still have like huge lines like probably you had back in the day.
Yeah. It's possible to get one of those pancakes in the morning for morning.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, it's more of like one of the options kind of thing. It's not like we definitely have to go this specific place. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those shops, people don't necessarily go there only for breakfast, right? Like asamaku, like these things that we've been talking about with the hotel breakfast, those are specifically breakfast. But some of the stuff in these shops that came in the 2010s, like they're open all day, so they're going to offer other stuff as well. It's not, and pancakes. A lot of people see pancakes as more of a dessert thing as well in Japan.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. So now we get to the fourth boom. Okay, so we are living in the fourth boom right now. Okay. So, according to Miwa Daisuke, the breakfast restaurant industry at this point in time is worth roughly like over $3.5 billion. Okay. And we are currently seeing, basically what's going on is a lot of places that didn't necessarily offer breakfast are starting to offer breakfast. They're starting to offer it for extremely cheap prices, and they're trying to bring in new customers. And this is really important. Like bring in those new customers and try to get them to take on the habit of coming to their place, every day or like regularly to get their coffee or whatever, their breakfast. So that's kind of the key point here. And in terms of cheap, in terms of price, 300 yen or less is like the thing that everybody's shooting for.
That is unbelievable.
Especially given that we were talking about like 60 yen, 70 yen, like morning in Hiroshima, right? Like you would think, oh, I thought inflation was worse than that.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. That's how this guy Miwa puts it. 300 yen. That's the magic number right now. And we'll go through some examples, but that's exactly it. Like if you look at the prices, like, yeah, everything seems to be right around 300 or even like less if it's, obviously if it's smaller, it's going to be less, but basically they try not to go above 300 too much. But some of the, specifically interesting things that are going on is, like in terms, for example, like I was watching a news report that was focusing on this, and they brought up a Well, it's some kind of restaurant in Chiba, and they were offering 600 yen, which is twice 300 yen, but it's still really cheap given what they're giving you.
Yeah.
All you can eat bread. They had like 20 types of bread, and they had a big line out the door. Like this place is really popular in somewhere in Chiba. 600 yen for all you can eat bread. That is really damn good these days. Okay.
Huh.
Especially if you convert that to dollars, that's like $4. That's crazy. Like I can't.
It is.
I can't get one piece of bread for $4 in Hawaii, right? Like, so,
Wow.
even if it's not like a big chain, it seems that the smaller places as well, they're trying to compete in their own way.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay. Wow.
for example, like this Miwa guy, he brings up a few examples. Maybe I guess let's talk about Saizeria, because that might be like the best example. So Saizeria is known as like the cheap Italian food family restaurant chain in Japan. They are all over Japan, and among family restaurants, I think they're known as being particularly cheap.
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, like I don't know if they still do this, but like back in the 2010s, like around when I was living there, I remember they had like 100 yen wine. Okay, so like that's like one of the things that they were known for. Maybe now it's like 110 yen or something with with tax. But yeah, so they started a new series, their new morning menu which they're calling Asasaize. Okay, so they're going with the asamaku thing, right? Asa, morning, and saize is short for saizeria, right? So Asasaize. Can you give us some examples of what they got, what they're offering, Miyuki?
So this one here, it says Asasaize menu. It says the morning starts with cappuccino and bread in Italy. Is that so?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have this yaki cinnamon focaccia.
Okay. So I guess it's basically like toasted cinnamon focaccia bread.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had it myself, but that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah. And how much is that? That probably comes with the drink, right? Like the coffee or something.
I think this one. Okay, so drink bar.
Oh.
Have you ever explained what drink bar is in this podcast?
So basically, drink bar is like the self-serve machine, right? You can go up and get as many drinks as possible. But here's how they get you. The cups are really small, so you got to go up like a lot if you want to drink a lot.
That is very true. And if you are familiar with free refill,
yeah.
drink bar, it's something different because you can get other drinks.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So you can get like a cappuccino first, and then Coke, and then like a Sprite kind of a pops or like soda drinks.
Yeah.
And then like orange juice and tea and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with drink bar included, that's only 300 yen, tax included.
Yeah. See the 300 yen number.
That
right
is, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So
I have to go.
I mean, for 300 yen, it's like it really is not a bad deal. And I'll explain more why this is happening in just a moment. But like all of these, so like it gets a little bit more expensive if you add the kombi. Like you'll get like a little bit of salad with a little bit of soup, and the bread. Some will have like little panini kind of style bread, or with like some cheese or whatever. There's a whole bunch of varieties, like options. And with the drinks, some are a little bit over 300, but I think all of them are under 500 or 400 yen. They're all really, really cheap, given I think that the food is not like a lot, but it's also nothing. It's not like you're just getting like one tiny piece of bread either. Like it's a very good price for what you're getting.
I think so. Yeah.
And so this is, Saizeriya is doing this. They just started doing this, I think, like maybe in March of 2026. This is very recent. And other places are trying to do similar things. Now, Miwa Daisuke explains, like, why is this possible? Because you for 300 yen, like, the profit margins on this, like, must be like nothing, right?
Right. Yeah.
So up until recently, doing something like this wasn't worth it for these restaurants because they could just stay open 24 hours and sell late night and make that money, and then they wouldn't have to hire a whole bunch of people in the morning, and plus there was just less demand in the morning anyway. Like even when I first started going to Japan in like 2006, 7, all that time, like, even though, yeah, there was McDonald's breakfast and there was breakfast here and there, but there wasn't like a huge breakfast culture yet. Like, it was like people don't normally go out to eat. Like, I remember a lot of times where I maybe like I would get to Tokyo early in the morning and it's like, oh, where do I kill times? Like, oh, there isn't much to do. Like, everything's closed. Like, whereas in the US, well, depending on where you are, I think it's easier to find. I mean, there's so many fast food places. Maybe that's why. But whether it's a donut shop or a fast food place, I have the impression that it's easier to go find a breakfast place in the US. But in a lot of these family restaurants, whatever, to them, it wasn't worth it to be open in the morning. But now there's a few things going on. First of all, like automation. So, machines in the kitchen that make it possible to like cook this stuff easier, faster with less people. Then there's the tablet ordering, right? People are ordering from these tablets. Yeah. You don't need to have as many servers. You don't need to have as many employees in general in the kitchen. So that cuts down, the cost of opening in the morning. Aside from that, there's also a general trend right now to stop offering 24 hours, service at a lot of these places because, of course, people have change the way that they work and all that, and maybe less people working at night. Also maybe like regulations and stuff like that. So it's just not worth it to like also wages, paying late night wages. That's also like something that they don't want to deal with because you have to pay more. So these companies at the moment, they've made the math, they've done the calculations, and they've realized, okay, if we can cut down the cost to an extreme fashion, and also, like food delivery apps and like robot delivery, that kind of stuff also is playing a factor here. AI stuff, they've done the math. They go like, okay, well, now we can offer this food for really cheap, and the profit margin is a little bit better than it would have been maybe like 10 years ago. Another thing that they're doing is they're really relying heavily on bread. So rather than, I guess, rice and maybe other options, bread, they're probably not preparing it themselves. They're bringing it in from other companies. They don't have to, cook it and from scratch and all this stuff. So they're cutting time and cost by offering bread, something that lasts longer and is just easier to handle. And so through all these things, they've made the decision that it's better to focus on the morning, and there'll still be enough profit to warrant this. And then the other thing is what I was kind of alluding to earlier was that they want to make it a custom for these customers, right? They want to go like, oh, well, we're going to offer them this 300 yen thing, and we're not going to make that much money off of it. But now they might start coming to Saizeriya once or twice or 3 times a week. Or some other restaurant, or now they might see the next time we offer the super special 500 yen lasagna. Now they're going to see the advertisement there. They might come back for dinner, right, to buy the lasagna. So they're trying to creep their way into the lives of these customers by offering these really, cheap deals on breakfast.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, right now, it's a pretty good time to be looking for breakfast stuff in Japan, it seems.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I just don't have this custom of dining out in the morning. Like, I don't go somewhere else to eat just breakfast. But looks interesting. Why not?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe I should give it a try.
And it's really cheap. So yeah. Another place that is just started offering breakfast in I think like pretty widely, maybe not in every single location, but pretty widely, is KFC. So KFC, apparently they kind of tried it in like the maybe 2000s. I think they called it like KFC AM or something like that, but it was limited. But even though like KFC was like the big one, like the big fast food place in Japan, and then McDonald's came around, now they're kind of like around the same number of stores. I don't remember if McDonald's has surpassed them, but the KFC for a long time was like the number one, and then McDonald's was the number two. So
I didn't know, really.
Yeah.
Huh.
McDonald's might be number one at this point, but I'm not sure. Like I'm talking purely in terms of locations.
Right. Okay.
So, but yeah, KFC, like even the CEO, like in a news report, he was saying like, yeah, we kind of, that's kind of like a gap for us. We've kind of, fallen behind on the breakfast stuff, but we're going to try something new. And so they're offering like these, they're calling it like, it's kind of breakfast, but also kind of like a snack thing. They're like these, like potato fry things and like chicken things, stuff that is very like easy to eat. You can just eat it on the go. They say one hando with one hand, but they're offering that at breakfast as well. And these are like really cheap as well, like under 300 yen. So KFC is trying to get into this as well, like as of March of 2026. So I'm sure there's other places. And there's other places that have already been offering breakfast for a while, like the gyudon places, the beef bowl places. They offer breakfast. I'm not sure what their prices are like, but they're fairly known for their breakfast. I have not been to one for breakfast. I should probably go next time because I'm just curious.
Yeah. I've been there only like a couple of times, like long time ago. But like I said at the beginning,
like what did you eat?
Huh?
Do you remember what you ate?
Yeah. That's what I was just saying at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
That I pretty much ordered like salmon, like shake teishoku.
Oh, okay.
With like a rice with miso soup with like a vegetable, like pickled vegetables and salmon.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a typical Japanese breakfast-ish thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's possible to get like this traditional Japanese breakfast set.
Yeah. At like Yoshinoya and those kind of places.
Yeah. So if you have like a normal amount of rice, because you can also have like smaller one and bigger one. But if you go to this nami mori, like standard normal size of cooked rice, that's 580 Japanese yen.
Hey, that's a good price. That's $3 in the US. Well, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, that is very good, very good. Yeah. And if you have, if you order only rice, miso soup, with a small dish of vegetable, and then this gyudon thing. Like how do you explain it, the cooked beef?
Yeah, the beef bowl.
Beef bowl, but like not on the rice. It's on the smaller.
It's just the topping, just the beef and vegetable.
It's beef and I think it's onion, like a cooked one.
Yeah.
So if you order this one, that is again with normal nami mori rice, 430 Japanese yen.
That, I mean, like I said, 1,000 yen at the hotel. That's double the price right there. And unless you intend to eat until you can't eat anymore, 480 yen sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah. And that is one chain called Sukiya.
Yeah.
And also at Yoshinoya, another gyudon beef bowl chain, they have asa gyu setto.
Oh.
Morning beef set.
Yeah.
And this is like a gyudon with miso soup and like a smaller portion of salad or cooked, boiled egg or natto or pickled vegetables. You can choose either one of them. And if for the nami mori, that's 552 Japanese yen, tax included.
Hey, that I'll happily pay for that because I mean, when I go to the convenience store and get my breakfast, I'm gonna end up spending right around that much anyway, maybe a little bit less depending on how much I buy. But oftentimes I buy like a sandwich, maybe one other thing, and then a drink. That's probably 500 yen
already, right? Yeah.
So that's a good deal.
That is.
Okay, well then I'm going to be in Japan in October, November, so yeah. But yeah, a lot of places offer breakfast. Like honestly, like I said, when I first started going to Japan, I thought, there's not a lot of places that go offer that much breakfast. But the more in recent years, it's been more and more and more, and like we talked about today, in recent, especially in this year, it seems like there's been especially an increase. So yeah, there's a lot more options. For example, like one thing that one of the articles that I read mentioned was even 7-Eleven is trying to get in on this whole fourth morning boom. That any onigiri up to 179 yen, up until like 10:30 a.m., I think they're selling them for like 100 yen. So they're really
what?
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's exceptions here and there, but that's what the article was saying. Like they're all like KFC, Saizeriya, even 7-Eleven, they're getting in on this by cutting the price on the onigiri. It's just in the morning. So yeah, 100 yen for an onigiri that's normally 179. That's pretty damn good. So
wow.
Yeah, good breakfast options, more and more breakfast options. And I guess last we can finish up by there's some, especially, of course, there's some creative cafes and different stuff like that. But you found an izakaya that offers breakfast, right, Miyuki?
I did, and I don't think this is any kind of like chain izakaya.
No, I don't think so.
So I guess you have to go this place if you really want to give it a try. Breakfast at izakaya. Izakaya is like a typical. How do you explain? It's not a bar, but like
often people drink. Just a Japanese pub, right? So people go there to eat and drink. You order a bunch of different food, and y'all get drunk and eat a lot of food.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is one izakaya called Sakaba Fukuro. Fukuro means a bag. I don't know. Well, but the reason.
Yeah, it's probably bag because it's located in Ikebukuro, which that kanji is bag.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. Yes. So it says at the west exit of Ikebukuro train station, there is a popular izakaya called Fukuro. And it's famous for its morning drinks. And the pub started as a small bar in 1953. So it's been there for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And this morning set is available from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Every day except Sunday. And you can have rice and miso soup with either ham and egg or sunny side up.
I love this fusion. West and Japan. Yeah.
Huh?
Like it's a fusion of the West and Japan, miso soup and ham.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at the price of 550 Japanese yen, tax included.
Nice. I'd go there.
Yeah.
Ikebukuro. I mean, I'm probably not going to be staying in Ikebukuro next time, but. But the funny,
but if you ever have a chance.
Yeah. But the extra funny thing about that izakaya is they're still also offering service for the people that just want to go and drink and because the people that worked all night, maybe who knows, like host people, people that work in the bars and stuff.
Mhm.
They'll go in the morning
Mhm.
and they'll be eating like sashimi and maybe like still drinking, but you can also get the breakfast morning. There's probably a couple hours where those two kinds of people overlap in the restaurant.
I guess.
Yeah.
So like if you are a kind of a person who wants to start drinking right after you wake up, you probably book a hotel in Ikebukuro.
Yeah.
And just wake up in a hotel room and just go straight to this pub. And you can just start drinking and eating breakfast with people who just worked night shift and have breakfast / supper in the morning.
Yep.
And just go home and sleep. It's just, I guess it's a mingled place of all these different kind of people.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun place. So of course drink responsibly, and breakfast is very important. So you need a good breakfast. So I think that go ahead.
I'm guessing I just found this one place, but there must be other places that not even advertised, very small traditional small pubs and restaurants that offer the very original morning.
Yeah. So, I'm sure there has to be other izakaya and stuff, or like like a ramen shop or stuff like that. Like here's a funny one. This is actually in Hawaii, but this is just a funny story. So there I don't know if they still do this, but there used to be a ramen shop that offered breakfast in the morning here in Hawaii, and they offered like pancake and tonkatsu and like waffles and karaage. Like it was like a mix of this stuff. Like they had really creative options, and we went there once. It was good. It was good. No regrets. But during the like lunch and dinner, they just offer like typical ramen, like stuff like fried food and ramen. So it was funny. It was like, what, they offer breakfast? But I'm sure there must be places like that in Tokyo. I would not be surprised at all. Tokyo has everything, so it has to be.
Tokyo has everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, the point here is that if you're planning a trip to Japan, if you're in Japan, be aware that right now is a great time for taking advantage of these breakfast deals. You have more breakfast options than ever before, and they are very affordable, and all these restaurants are competing for your business, so they're really cutting prices and trying to get you in the door. But just know that you can take advantage of that. So go have some breakfast.
I will.
Yeah,
I definitely will.
I will, when I'm there in the fall. So I really want to go to that all-you-can-eat bread place. Like that's 600 yen. So, oh my god,
that's incredible.
All right. Well, I don't know if we're gonna go have breakfast, but you and me, we're gonna go eat some stuff while I'm there. So, all right. Anyway, that is it. If you have any questions or suggestions or whatever, you can email me, mail@japankyo.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and spread the show around, do all that stuff, help the show grow. Always appreciate that. And of course, the show is on YouTube as well at Japankyo News, but on all the podcast platforms, that's where most people listen. So anyway, thank you, Miyuki.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.